Okay, it looks like it says that we are live now. It's always exciting to find out who is going to be joining us, but it takes a little bit of time for people to get the notification and then to, get on their computer or their phone and to jump on live with me. And so I always enjoy having them here with me, and any questions they have, we try to make sure that your questions are addressed and things like that. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, then I highly want to start out by just asking you that at the end of this video or sometime through this video, if you think, yeah, I really like some of the things that I'm hearing here, and so let me just check this guy out a little longer. And so to do that, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And when you do that, this little bell will appear. And so you want to make sure that you go ahead and click on that little bell so that that little bell is giving the YouTube instructions that you want to be notified when we are on live, and so that you can be here to interact with us. And I always look forward to finding out who's going to join us and to then interacting with them. That's part of the reason why we do these live streams. Otherwise, it would be a lot easier for me to just be able to sit in front of my computer and make a video, or sit in front of my camera or my phone, whatever tool I happen to be using to make the video. Then it'd be a lot easier to just do that, particularly using things like a PowerPoint presentation and whatever notes that I use, than to try to do this live stream. And so it'd be a lot easier to just sit down and make a video. But we really do enjoy that interaction with people. And so that's why I'm trying to just started this week. A couple weeks ago, I started doing live stream YouTube events, and then starting this week, started to do more than just one a week, and so that we can take and interact with our audience. So it's wonderful to have you here interacting with me. If you have questions or anything like that, go ahead and put them in the comments there, and I'll see them here. If you are watching the video on this and not here live with us, then I'll also answer your questions, and you can make a question or just make a comment by going ahead and down there in the comments section, make your comment or ask your question. Now, if you're on your phone, in order to make a comment, you just simply scroll all the way down to the very bottom, so you won't be seeing me on your phone screen at that point, but you just scroll all the way down to the very bottom, and you'll be able to make your comments or ask your questions there as well. And then you can scroll back up and continue watching the video if you like. But in the meantime, while you're making your comment, you'll be able to hear me continue to talk and chat here a little bit, and so that you don't end up missing anything. And so we don't want you to have to feel like you have to wait until I'm all done, and then by then you've forgotten what you wanted to ask a question about, or you have forgotten what it is that you wanted to comment on. And so, go ahead and put your comments in and put your questions in while we are going through this. And I may not answer them or, address the question right away if you're here live with me. I may not go ahead and address it right on the spot, because I kind of want to get through the material, but I'll come back and address all the questions, make sure that before I'm done here that I address everything, all the questions. And so we've been, this week, we've been talking a little bit about NLP. And we've been talking about NLP because it is a program, it's a process that it's highly successful for helping people to create change. And as we mentioned in yesterday's video, it creates change through a long time using a repetitive process. And for instance, you may be familiar with like using affirmations and things of that nature. All of these different systems, they work for helping you to create the life that you want, a life that you love. And but they sometimes then just take too long to work, and it just takes too much effort and too much work to make them work. And then there's things, that I remember years ago on goals, that people say, well, just make yourself up some goal cards and keep saying some affirmations about those goals every day. And so I would go ahead and do that. But, we also have this other part of us, and that's our identity. We've talked about that this week, and I talked about that in the emails. And if you're not on my email list, then click on the link down there in the description so you can subscribe to my email list. But I've written about this a lot, and that is that we have our identities as well. And so no matter what it is that you are trying to say through affirmations, you see, your affirmations are based upon your desired reality. That's what you want to create, where you want to go in your life. But then you've got your current reality. That's where your life is right now, this moment. And then onto that, we have anchoring ourselves, our identity. And identity is who we see ourselves, who we feel ourselves being. And so that anchors us back there. And so it doesn't matter. You can say, for instance, you can say all you want. I'm a millionaire, or I'm a great lover. I'm the most amazing lover. You can do things like that all the time. We're like, I have such amazing charisma and confidence that when I see a gal that looks attractive to me and I just want to go over there and start up a conversation and I just want to chat her up and she's going to like me. And so those are all things that are within a realm of desired reality for a lot of people, whether it be a woman or a man. We have these desired realities, but we have also our current reality, where we're at right now. And that is anchored by our identity. And that identity has things like beliefs that we have to work with. So for instance, then, if I'm looking at this gal, I may have a belief that I'm a little bit overweight and she's not going to be interested in somebody that's overweight. And so that would be then my identity. My identity would be seeing myself as a person that's just a little bit chubby, and seeing myself as a chubby person, that somebody who is really, just in shape, in really great shape. Yeah, somebody that's in really great shape, I could say, well, my belief is that they're not going to like a chubby guy. That's my belief. Or it once was, it's not anymore. And so what that does, that anchors me into my current reality, where I don't ever really give myself an opportunity to go to my desired reality, which my desired reality may be to be able to have a relationship or maybe just have sex. You may want either one with a gal who's just like a really super attractive gal. And so we anchor ourselves back here in our current belief, our current reality, and we go for what is easy. I've done this, dating people who are something like what I might say, well, that person will be a sure bet for me, because then that's comfortable. And so we all have these desired realities and our current realities that are anchored with our identity, which is based upon our beliefs, because we want to have a life that is comfortable. And so the process of NLP help people to be able to go from that current reality to the desired results, but it was very time consuming, and it took a lot of time to be able to get over here, so that you're wiping out those beliefs. Because those beliefs, it's reality. It's just information. That gal that I'm looking at, not this moment, but I mentioned, see some gal out here, but I'm a chubby. If I don't at least go and talk with her and chat with her, who knows? She may love to be able to put her head on a little bit of a chubby belly, and she may really enjoy that experience. And I won't know that if I live in my belief being It's just not possible. And so what we have to do is we have to wipe out our beliefs, and we have to open the door to possibilities. And so, yes, you can do that in processes like, using affirmations or hypnosis or therapy or reading books and self-development, and go to courses like there's, in this area, there's dating coaches that they'll take, and you'll spend thousands of dollars to take and start to develop confidence. Develop confidence so that you actually go and approach that woman. Or for a woman, you actually go and approach that guy. Or for like a woman like my partner Kat, who's bi, she more often than not is interested in approaching a woman than she is a man, because she gets approached by a lot of men. And so she's usually more interested in approaching another woman. But that takes a confidence, and that takes an understanding that when we go and approach that person, then we have no control over what that person is how they're going to respond. All we do is we have the ability to take and deliver the best personal self to that individual as we possibly can, and then let that person give us information. And that person may say, yeah, you're hot, let's go, Or that person may say, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee and spend a little time together. And so, or the person may say, nah, not my type. I may be too old, or maybe too, that I'm chubby or whatever. But, then a confident person just simply takes that is information. Info. It's just information. It's not personal, because their success is going to be structural. And that structure is to instill confidence, overcome all the negative baggage that we have, instill confidence, and then have a structure. And that structure means I got to go out and talk to people and just respect that I'm not going to be like the cat's meow to everybody that I talk to. It's even if I was a hunky, good-looking guy, muscles, young and youthful, then if I was that kind of person, I'm not going to be, not every gal that I would approach then would find that I was her type. And so you just have to take it as information, and you move on to the next structural situation. And where in this case, that'd be like, move on to the next opportunity that you have. For you see a woman and you're saying, wow, I'm going to go over there and chat with her. The worst that can happen is she just says, I'm not your type. And that's okay. And so that's what then we're talking tonight about, actually, is the 6 pillars of NLP. And I'm going to get into some of that information. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Non-Monogamous Mark, and my partner, who isn't here tonight, was supposed to be here but isn't. She is a badass cat. And so we'll just have to go on without her tonight, and I will have to do her part then, okay? You see, now, I've been talking this week about NLP, but I've also said that NLP is not something that we utilize because it is outdated technology. It'd be like trying to use a computer from the 1990s today. It's not that it's bad. It's not that it won't work. But boy, do you want that old sluggish process of using a computer on today's internet, and to be bringing, even like streaming something like this through your computer that was built in the 1990s? You see, it's just going to be slow and sluggish. And that's how we see NLP. And so we have a new process that's been developed, and our mentor, Chris Duncan, we've mentioned, he is a pioneer in this whole process. He's over in Australia, and we talk with him a couple times every week, and he's a pioneer in this whole process. And this process is called Super-Conscious Rapid Recode. And so it's the Super-Conscious Rapid Recode because we learn that we've always known that people had a conscious mind. We have an unconscious or an unconscious, an unconscious or a subconscious mind as well. They both serve separate functions and kind of keep things in checks and balance. But then there's also called a super-conscious memory. And the super-conscious memory is actually what you're born with. That super-conscious memory is then why that a brand new baby knows to cry and knows to breathe and these kinds of things. And then for the first 7 years of that child's life, the super-conscious is being developed, because in the first 7 years, the baby has a conscious and a super-conscious. The unconscious, they've discovered and found, it really doesn't even start to be developed until that child is 4 years old. And so that between the ages of 4 and 7, that conscious then is developed. And so but the superconscious and the conscious is there. The superconscious is all that innate memory that child is born with. You see, but then things happen to us along the way where we have our superconscious and our conscious, and then it slips into our conscious, where we create, these beliefs and the identity that we have. Sometimes that identity serves you and serves your life just great, because there's just no limitations that you find that you have. But how often? I was at a movie theater the other night, and when the movie was all done, there was this dad. Well, actually, this has happened before the movie started, not even the previous on. And this little toddler, and his sister is probably about 6. They just wanted to get out in the aisle and just run and have a great time. But, dad's all proper and everything, and yelling at the kids, "Hey, you kids, get back here. Don't run in the aisles." And, what's wrong with letting them run and having a really great time? You see, but we start learning from a very early age that we have to conform, that we can't do these things, that we have to be limited and restricted in the things that we want to do. And so what happens is we create this current reality that gets us stuck with where we're at, instead of being a human being that is able to create tremendous things. When you think about that baby, first lays that baby on the floor, and that baby can't talk, can't turn themselves over. They have to learn how to control their motor muscles and be able to take it and finally be able to use their arms to turn themselves over. And so all these things is what a baby has to learn. And what they're doing in that process is they're learning how to create a life that they love. But then our parents are the first to come along, and they'll start to condition ourselves and say things like, "Oh, look at that, she's so shy." Because they see something that parents identify as being shy. And so they start to reinforce that on that child. And guess what? That child then grows up being a shy child. That's where shyness is created. It's not coming to many children down here in this innate intelligence, the superconscious. Man, that child is ready to be born and ready to live and create their life. But then we start to limit and restrict that child. And so we all learn to be conformist. We learn to be conventional. We learned to put limitations on ourselves and on others. We learn to restrict ourselves and others. And then it's as if we have these desires out here, but then what happens is it's like there's this rubber band or bungee cord that every time we start to move in that direction, that it just brings us right back. Have you ever had that happen? I sure have. So sometimes what can happen in people's lives, I know this has happened to me, is that you break out of this current reality, this eggshell that you're in, and you crack the egg, and you start to move in the area, in the direction of your desired reality, and you start to really have some of the dreams that you have always wanted. For me, I always wanted to make a 6-figure income. Well, I did that, and so I had some of those dreams, but then some things come along in your life that puts you right back to here with these beliefs and this conformity and the limitations and restrictions. And what happens is that you end up going right back to here. In my case, I lost $3 million, and ended up going right back to here because that's where we are comfortable at being, because our identity has not shifted up here to our desired reality. It has stayed back here instead. And so what the Super-Conscious Rapid Recode does is it doesn't change you. You're still the same person, but it shifts your identity to keep up with your desires, because that's the life that you want to create. Think about that baby again on the floor. That baby that, can you imagine that baby throwing limitations and restrictions and saying, no, I can't talk. No, I can't turn myself over. No, I don't have any motor controls. And so that's their current reality, right? And so imagine that baby. And this is why that a baby doesn't have a conscious mind for the first 4 years of their life. Because if they did, that conscious mind, it doesn't like change. It likes comfort. Oh, why don't I just lay here? And that baby would lay there and never learn any motor movements, and never learn how to talk, and never learn how to create their life. And so the conscious doesn't come along, the unconscious doesn't come along for the first 4 years of that baby's life. And then it starts to develop from the age of 4 to 7. And so that's so that baby can become a creator of their life. But these are supposed to blend together after that. But because of the conditioning that we have, we do not continue always creating the lives that we love to live. And that's what we want to help you to do, is to create a life that you love. Now, if you already love your life today, and you just get really excited about getting out of bed every day and you can't wait to just have another day, if that's where you're at right now, then let's help you to love your life more. You see, because the creation process comes from loving your life and wanting more. Now, more what? Well, more, for instance, how about health and wellness? Don't you want more health and wellness instead of less? Yeah, you want ability, not disability in your life. And how about work and wealth? Now, the first video I made this week on a live stream, I said that one of the things that our mentor, our millionaire mentor, was taught by his billionaire coach, is that you want to love what you do, so that even if you weren't getting paid for it, you would do it anyway because you just love doing it. And so that is one of the keys that they said to wealth. But so often what we do is we settle for security and comfort. That's what the conscious mind, and that's coming back here with our identity, where it brings us back to here where our current reality is, because that's safe and secure and comfortable. And so the Super-Conscious Rapid Recode goes into the superconscious, and it works with that superconscious to get your identity to seeing yourself over here as your desired reality, because you have to be it in order to have it. And you have to be it. That means that you actually have to feel it, is what we really mean by that, is you have to be able to feel it before you can have it. And once you can feel it, then you start to take the small steps necessary and moving in the direction of your desired reality. And that just becomes a process of of creating the reality that you want and taking the steps. It's structural. So for instance, me seeing that attractive gal, and so I take the steps to go up and I approach her. And then if I get rejected, don't take it personal, because it's success in anything is not personal, it's structural. And so just take it as information and think to myself, wait a minute now, how did that go for me, Mark? Was I pretty comfortable? Was I suave and really, like myself and, come across really well like I normally do? Or did I come across as a nervous, nibbling idiot because I'm thinking about that she probably is not going to like me? And so the way I come across then, and that's why then from that encounter, I go there and I'd see if there's something there for me to learn. It's then information. And based upon that information, then I go back and next gal I see, I say, I'd like to approach her. And so I go and I approach her. I don't hold myself back. I approach her. And so that's the process, but we have to get you over these barriers, which are your beliefs, your identity, things that, you had experiences in your life that were maybe sometimes even traumatic, and if those traumatic experiences in life, maybe you had a relationship one time with a gal who had blue eyes, and that woman, when you got up close to her, gorgeous as she was, and she had blue eyes, and maybe the last time you had a relationship with a woman who had blue eyes, that it didn't end well. You had this great relationship, but you ended up getting your heart broken over it. And so now here you are seeing this gal, not being able to see what color her eyes are. You approach her and you find that she's got blue eyes and you think, oh no. It's just little things like that. It's the emotions that we have attached to our memories that can become a problem. But we take and extinguish those problems, and we extinguish those problems fast. Whereas like NLP we've been talking about this week, like I said, it's like that slow computer from the 90s. But this is no longer the 90s. This is the roaring 20s. And so we want you to roar into the 20s, creating a life that you love, and then to have more of that life. And so how are we doing that? Oh, real quick here then. Like the description here talked about, there are 6 pillars of NLP. Now, I'm not going to go over all 6 pillars. I'm going to just touch on 2 of the pillars and see. So if you like to know more about this, you can kind of do your own studies if you want, or you can become part of our coaching program. And down there in the link, down there in the description, there's a link for a $189 credit that we'll give you, so that makes it so that you can have a free 30-minute coaching call with us. And so, just give us a call. So let me get into these pillars then real quick, because that's the thing about the pillars. You see, is like I said, the NLP was our ancestor to what we have today as the Super-Conscious Rapid Recode. And so being that it's our ancestor, there's a lot that we have that we benefit that was learned through they really came out in the 70s. And so it's been going on for 50 years, NLP has now. And so for the last 50 years, NLP has been going on, and they've learned a lot about how the brain works and how to create conscious change in the brain. And so we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We just simply want to upgrade to the newer computer is what we want. And so that's why we take and utilize some of the things that were from NLP, and it's good for you to kind of know about them a little bit. And so the first thing, the first pillar is that it's all about you. What do I mean there? Well, there's 2 people usually involved in an NLP process. There's the practitioner, and in this case, that'd be myself or Kat. If you're being coached by Kat, if we were doing NLP, which we're not, we're going to do a rapid recode, because we don't want you stuck on a computer back there in the 90s. We want you to be going through this stuff fast, making rapid changes. And so, but you see, so there's two parties here. There's ourselves, and then there's you. And so the thing that they learned with NLP is that the intention of the practitioner is extremely important. It's critical to the success of how well NLP is going to work. And so what that means is if the intentioner, because they did studies, they say, well, why doesn't that person have success with their clients as well as the person over here has success? And they found out that one of the reasons, the main reason, is the intention of the practitioner. If the practitioner is there for the wrong reasons, I'm just here to earn a paycheck today, this is how I get paid. And so if they're there for the wrong reasons, or it's like, hey, it's Friday night, it's 5:30, and I need to be getting some dinner, and so all these other things, or maybe they had a argument with their partner that day, or some things of stressful happened to them at work, or all the stuff that can go on in a person's life. A person can go through, the practitioner can go through the motions, but if they're just going through the motions, it's not going to be that good for the person that they're trying to help create a wonderful life. And so that's the first thing, is that for the practitioner, that they've got to be there to help, with the intention that they are going to do everything within their ability to help their client unlock the barriers in their life that keep them stuck. And then the next thing, the client. The client, and in this case, that would be you. The client then has to take action. Let me just share an experience here. Okay, I have been a notoriously slow reader all my life. And in order to really comprehend things, I have to go through and read things 2 or 3 times. That's how I got through college. I got through college with really great degrees, really high grades, taking really hard courses. And all through college, though, I studied my butt off. Wasn't one of these people that never cracked a book, or cracked a book for just, the day before the exam, the test, or anything. For every 1 hour I spent in class, I spent 2 to 3 hours studying outside of class. And people have different learning styles. But so therefore, I've just always come through my life with this belief that I can't read fast. I've, through my life, have purchased courses in things different 3 times, where I've spent over $1,000 each of the 3 times, where I've made this purchase that's supposed to help me to learn and have the ability to read faster and easier and quicker, and be able to still obtain that knowledge and be able to recall the information that after reading it. And so none of that really ended up helping me. So then I had this belief based upon some feelings that I had that took me way back to my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, when I was learning how to read. And so those beliefs then kind of held me back like an anchor. That was my identity, you see. I'm not someone who's a very good reader. Now, I'm smart as a whip, but I just don't read very well. And so that was my identity. Now, after meeting Chris, my mentor in Australia, I knew that there was a lot of material that I was going to have to learn. All this kind of stuff that I'm talking about today, some of it is, I've been teaching it because some of it's based upon energy and my knowledge of energy. I've been teaching it for 5, 10 years or more, 15 years, some of it. Because it's been a process of things that I've learned through my life, but suddenly I knew I didn't have all the pieces as well. And suddenly now all the pieces came together with the material that my mentor brought to me. But he says, okay, I'm going to put you through this certification course. It's a 6-month course, and it's going to be a lot of reading and a lot of learning things that you have to do. You have to watch a lot of videos, and you have to remember things, And so suddenly this fear strikes me. oh my God, I don't know if I have enough time to read everything 3 times and to watch the videos 3 times to really let things sink in. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And this is the importance of being a coach, having a coach where you just allow yourself to open up and be vulnerable with your coach. You don't try to hide things and cover things up, because your coach is only there to help you if it's the right coach. I had a coach a couple of years ago who was just there for the money. It was not the right coach. I spent a year with that coach, 1.5 years, in fact, and thousands of dollars, but it was not the right coach. And so it is important to have the right coach, and then just be totally open with your coach so that coach can help you get where you want to go and create a life that you love, and then create more. And so I said and shared the stuff that I was struggling with. I was really struggling. And then finally it says, well, why don't you do a recode about your reading? A super-conscious rapid recode, which oftentimes we just call it a recode. And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. So I did a recode, and I could feel energetically, I could feel things different. Like, yeah, there's not this mental block there that's keeping me from learning things quickly and easily. But then I had to take action on my new belief. What that meant, that I needed to pick up a book, and I needed to start reading through it, speed reading, and then just having the belief that, yeah, it's all going in, and I'm retaining what I'm reading, and I had to put it into practice. And so what they learn in NLP, that's a very important step, is that through the NLP, or now with us being in the roaring 20s, we got a faster model, and because it works with the super-conscious, not the conscious. And the super-conscious, then, that faster model, it can clear out all those negative beliefs. But you see, that's the other part, one of the other parts here of our program, is we have these desired results. And then here you are with your current reality, and we want to shift your identity. We want to help you to shift your identity to be that of your desired results, so that you can be it before you have it, and not be anchored to your current reality anymore. So you shift into your desired results. Now, one of the things that takes, though, is a community. If you are all the time, like, let's say that you're shifting, like I was 27 years in a monogamous marriage, and I wanted to shift that. And I wanted to shift it to non-monogamy. And so I went, and my wife and I went through a 2-year process we talked to people, we read books. And so after the 2-year process, we said, yes, let's try non-monogamy. Let's give it a try. And we then had to do a shift. And that meant to create a community around us, because everybody that we hung out with are people that we met through church and things like that. And we couldn't go and talk to them about being non-monogamous. So we had to create a new community that allowed us to create this new identity, being non-monogamous. And then they would support that, not hanging around with the same people that talk about that anybody has sex outside of marriage with more than one person is just a terrible, awful person. And they're going to go to hell. And so we had to create a new community. And we have created a community for you in our program as well. And there are people who it's a community that wants you to have your desired reality. And so instead of seeing your identity being here in your current reality, they want you to open up and share what your desired reality is, and they then will start to see you themselves as your desired reality. Because most of our friends, the people we hang out with, our relatives, they're all good-meaning people, but they kind of help us get stuck back here in our current reality, because they want to keep reminding us this is where we belong, back here. And so creating a new community helps your identity to shift up to here and continue to moving forward in creating a life that you love by having the things in your life that you desire. And that's an important part of our program, is helping you to have that community. And so that's why the number one pillar of NLP is you. And I'm going to leave it there today. Gone long enough already. I'd hope to get to the second pillar, but again, if you become one of our coaching clients, then you'll be going through lots and lots of training, lots and lots of really great information. And so that, because it's stuff that we don't want you to kind of shift over to here, because that's your desired reality, so your identity shifts. We help you to understand everything, because when you have some knowledge based upon the things that you are shifting in your life, is like going back to, again, when I went to become a non-monogamous, then my wife and I, who she's deceased now, so Kat's is a partner, I've got other partners, and so but my wife and I, at that time though, we spent 2 years. Again, remember, change is slow, and in the old processes that we used to use. And it doesn't need to take that long. But if you sit down, like I sat down with my wife, and said, hey, would you be open to talking with some people and reading some books and having conversation between the two of us? And then she got around to finally, after a while, she says, okay, I'd at least sit down and we can read some books and we can talk to some people. There's no harm in that. And so as we did that, then they came up to, because here's the desired reality. I mean, neither one of us were liking our sex life. We've been to therapists and been to workshops and seminars and read books and done all kinds of things for 20 years. And neither one of us enjoyed our sex life. But yet we both desired to enjoy our sex life. And so we had to start opening the door up, so in having conversation between us. And then you start to say, okay, what are your concerns and issues? What is this block here that keeps you from flowing from where you're at to where you want to be? What are those blocks? And so we started to list out those blocks. And then once we were able to really get down to the true issues, the true concerns, we were able to create some structure around that. Again, success is not personal, it's structural. And we were able to create some structure around that, so that we're both at a point then, after 2 years, we were at a point of saying, okay, let's give this a try. And we gave it a try, and I'll never go back to monogamy. Okay? I mean, I love my life today. I could not tell you that when I was involved in a monogamous life for 27 years. I was involved in monogamy. And I think my wife, if she was alive today, she would tell you the same thing. And I'm sure that she would say that she'd never go back to monogamy again as well. And so we got to take and knock out these things, these barriers that are keeping you from going to here. Now, people can get stuck, or they can oscillate. Oscillate means you start creating this pattern where you just keep going back and forth, where you make some progress, but you can end up back here again, make progress and end up back here, make progress, and you just oscillate back and forth. You ever seen people that they get out of one relationship and boy, I'll never do that kind of relationship again. But sure enough, they do the same thing all over again. It just brings them right back to here. They may even date some people that are up here, their desired reality that they would like to have. But the people they end up getting into a real firm relationship with, bring them right back to here. Maybe you've seen people like that. Maybe you've been one of those people. And so we can help you with all of that. So whether it be in your health and wellness, that you have the same thing. You get stuck or you oscillate, or the other thing is, because there's 3 patterns here. The other is called flow. And the flow is like I talked about in yesterday's video, where you just suddenly, you knock out these barriers and you end up having a super highway, and all you have to do is you just get on the train, so to speak, and you follow the structure. You take the action one step at a time, just small steps, and you keep making sure you take small steps of action that are going to get you to your desired reality, and you'll get there. Whether it be talking about your health and wellness, whether it be talking about your work and wealth, or whether you're talking about your relationships and sex, or maybe all of it, because maybe you just really need an overhaul in your life. We can help you do that too. And it won't take years, like it's things, the modalities and things that in the past taken years to make these kinds of shifts and changes in your life. It won't take years, because sometimes too, when going back to the whole movement from monogamy to non-monogamy, you see, you get things like possessiveness, insecurities, and jealousies that become this. But through doing the Super-Conscious Rapid Recode, and I explained what that is like. I explained a little bit about that in yesterday's video. And then I think down in the description, there's even a link where my mentor, Chris, has a video, and it's a link to his video where he is doing a live event, and he pulls 2 ladies out of the audience randomly, picks them out of the audience, and then he puts them on stage, and he helps them to overcome one of these barriers in their life that kept their life back here, and where they knew they wanted to move up to here, but they had this barrier. And so you can watch that video. It's a short video, and it's linked down there in the description. And so I thank you very much for being with me here tonight. If you have any questions, I'll answer your questions. I don't see there's any questions that have been posted here, and so I went a little longer than I expected here tonight, but had a really great time sharing this information with you. But I have so much more that I would love to help you with and to share with you. And so that's why we have created, and there's a little bit of information down there in the description, but it's our foundation to freedom magnetic mastermind. And there's 5 components that we use on that. Coaching is one of those components, and I talked about the coaching here. The community is another element. We use another element that I've talked about here tonight called the Super-Conscious Rapid Recode. Another element that we use is called lenses, and that helps you to have clarity and know exactly really what it is that you want next. And so you have that desired reality, and you just have a very clear picture of it. We help you with that, and that also then once you have that clear focus and that picture, then it develops clarity every day, day by day, what you can do to keep your life moving in that direction then. And so then the other thing is that it also includes some meditation. And even if you don't believe in a higher being or anything like that, then we'll help you walk you through, because you don't have to be a spiritual person. You can be an atheist or an agnostic and still benefit from these meditations that we have you do and stuff. They're life changing. And so we have 5 different things that we utilize in the Foundation to Freedom Magnetic Mastermind program. And so I encourage you to go ahead and get that 30-minute free coaching call and find out more about how we can help you to create a life you love and then create even more. As we really want to do that here in the Roaring 20s. We want your life to roar. And so thank you very much. Click on the like if you liked the video, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already yet. and then get on our email list and take a look at the, go ahead and read that information down there in the description so you have a little more knowledge and information. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.